that's it. John Cena has had his last ever match on Monday Night Raw. Like, I'm sure he'll make future appearances. But he just pops in and goes, "Hi, it's me, John Cena." But it's totally mad. And if you're like me, you probably do a bit of internal reflection and realize, oh my gosh, time is going so fast. So maybe today, and for most of this week, we should just try and be as happy as we can do. And remember, all we have is this moment, and tomorrow is not guaranteed for anyone. You wouldn't know it from that intro, but this is indeed a wrestling review show. As ever though, what the hell do I know? I couldn't even keep my hair, but hello my friends, it is I, Simon Miller. And yes, given that Monday Night Raw just came at us live from Madison Square Garden, and we did say yet another goodbye to John Cena, I am going to take my finger of power, which is not a euphemism, and the good bit gets an up, and the bad bit gets a down, but we always remember that wrestling is the most important of the least important things, so sit down, grab yourself a beverage, let's go. Cena was the first guy out as well, and this was totally hilarious because this MSG crowd went totally crazy. They were so excited to see this man. It looked like John Cena was going to be his always awesome babyface self, being like, "I'm so happy to be here. I can't believe it." Without the New York fans, who the hell knows where I would have been. And just when he was about to give us some sage advice, Dominik Mysterio interrupted. And they're like, "Oh, Dom, you're such a scamp." Now, he made a great point too when he was all like, you were just given this IC title shot, and that essentially ties into your entire career where people just bent over backwards for you, unlike me, who had to fight for everything. And yes, for the people on the internet that went whoop, it went right over their heads, that's the whole point. He knows he's the son of Rey Mysterio, that's where he was getting the heat. It's also why the condom is absolutely brilliant, and why one day he should be the WWE champion. Look at my face. I'm not joking. Cena was ready for Dommy Boy, but he was like, no. That's what we did last week, so now we're going to do it on my terms. So let's have the rematch at the Survivor Series, because it's my hometown of San Diego. And of course, Cena said yes. I was like, John, you're the champ. Just go, no, we do it now, or I'll kick you back to Timbuktu. But we didn't do that. But of course, John Cena had made a promise that he was going to have a match on Raw. So he said, Dominik Mysterio, I chose you. Which is when the Judgment Day came out, and we basically forgot about a story, because we had to book a six-man tag, because Finn Bálor and JD McDonagh are all like, "We don't like you, Cena, we're going to beat you up." Long story short, out came Sheamus and Rey Mysterio, because they just wanted to be the best of friends with John Cena, and yes, we got a six-man tag. Before we do move on, I think that Dominik Mysterio may win back that Intercontinental title from John Cena at the Survivor Series, and I will do the dance of joy. When we went into this match, and I tell you, it was super simple, but the reason we have obvious plays is because they usually win football games. You should just go and check this out. It was just, oh, we've all got moves, so let's do the moves together. Also, these are the bad guys, so let's punch them in the face. And the heels were like, we're going to cheat to get back in control, where each and every single one of them did hit their finishers onto John Cena, because that's what John's doing at the moment, when Sheamus and Rey Mysterio broke it up at the 1-2-ooh. So now, if the Judgment Day do want to come out and say, we would have beaten John Cena, they totally can. We really do have to discuss Rey Mysterio as well, who just moves like he hasn't had any injuries in his life, even though he's been suffering from things back in his WCW days. He is one of the GOATs. And also, we made it, my friends, we made it, because at one point, John Cena, Rey, and Sheamus all did 5-knuckle shuffles, and given this was John Cena's last match on Raw, we have made it 20 plus years, and we are still making masturbation references, and nobody talks about it. We just go 5-knuckle shuffle, and apparently that's totally fine. Now I screwed it up, shuffle. Nobody knows what a shuckle is. We then carried on the same old deal because Rey hit his finish, Sheamus hit his finish, when yes, JD McDonagh got hit with the AA, as John Cena got the 1-2-3. And that was it. No big angle, no nonsense. It was just made to make you feel warm and fuzzy in your tum-tum. Then John Cena tried to make you cry. As he looked right down the camera lens, he was like, that's it, man. I love you so much. I was like, damn it, John, can you stop it? But of course it gets an up. Why do we watch wrestling? To feel good about life. And I just thought this was absolutely brilliant. And it was designed to make you feel good in your Tootsie Toes. It went on for what, 30, 35, maybe 40 minutes. But it is worth every single damn second. Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce then chatting backstage because how dare Paul Heyman choose Drew McIntyre, who was suspended. Once again, my hand went up. I was like, you two doofuses are in charge. If that's the rule, change the rule. Why are you so mad? Which is when Paul Heyman walked in, he was like, I'm so happy Drew is on my team. But just you wait, I'm going to reveal my 5th member later, and you're not going to believe it. And if you do frequent the internet, as we all do, well, you probably knew who this was. The New York Giants then got into a fight with the Judgment Day. I mean, that's the thing that happened. So I'm just telling you, although I do believe it was done just for PR, that they seem to have a good time. When we got our second big angle of the night, Because, yeah, last week, Nikki Bella turned heel. This was kind of weird because we were told, here comes Stephanie Vaquer to do an interview. When Nikki Bella attacked her from behind, I was very mad at Nikki because she was back in a red top. And last week, she made it very clear she was going to start wearing a black top. When she was basically like, I didn't come back to be your sidekick, Stephanie Vaquer. It's like, well, that was on you, Nikki Bella. You started hanging around with her. Nobody made you. However, because I am someone that opened all these doors and gave you the opportunities that you get today, I am challenging you for that there title. She then basically grabbed the belt and held it above her head, and I just thought this was too quick. Nikki Bella has proven in the past, if you do give her some heel promos, she will say some outrageous lines, such as, I hope you died in the womb, or I wish you would have died in the womb. Yes, she said that to Brie Bella about, 10 years or so ago now. And it wasn't bad, there was nothing wrong with it. And I actually think Nikki Bella plays a heel way better than she plays a babyface. It's just something about her. But it just came and went so quick, and I was like, oh, we've already gone through it. I mean, maybe the opening segment went too long. I don't know, I don't work backstage. But it certainly wasn't bad, but I just thought you could have done something bigger here. I think Stephanie's going to have to say something at some point because her friend has stabbed her in the back. But I am going to give it an up. So like Stephanie Vaquer, like I say, I'm very excited about heel Nikki Bella. I just think if we do give her some time and some, what's the word I'm looking for, space, whatever that means, she'll do a very good job. The Kabuki Warriors then found Bayley and Lyra Valkyria backstage. And Kairi Sane was like, listen, I've been talking to Asuka, and if you apologize to us right now, we'll forgive you, Bayley. You could be on the War Games team. This was so good. It was like two teachers talking to a student, and Bayley was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that, so you should flub off. Well, actually, she laughed like a bad woman. You know, she did that thing where she goes, ha, 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 like she's some kind of flying bird in The Wizard of Oz. This is when Lyra was like, oh, Bayley, I'm so proud of you. Let's do a high five. And of course, Bayley had gone nuts by this point, so she was like, I'm not a child, we're not going to do a high five. And poor Lyra had a meltdown. All of this is so damn weird, but the reason I respect them all so much is because they commit. But in terms of a story, Looney Tunes. When we got another great moment, that kind of felt like what this whole Raw was designed to do. Because it was John Cena Last Time Is Now tournament, and we knew that Sikoa had a mystery opponent, and man, it was Dolph Ziggler. Madison Square Garden went completely crazy. And this Dolph, he's such a good wrestler. Like, he's so good. Not just because he bumped his ass off, which he was doing here, like the rent was due, but there's just something about the way he performs. Sounds like I'm singing Elton John's songs. He is brilliant. If I was WWE, I'd be like, listen, I understand you're killing in TNA, but would you like to come back? I mean, the way he bumped off Sikoa's Samoan drop was awesome, but maybe he did go, oh my gosh, he is Samoan, so I've got to do this. And when he hit the zigzag for the 1-2, ooh, I don't think anybody actually believed that Dolph Ziggler was going to win, but they wanted to believe. Actually, this was just a copy and paste of the Zack Ryder match, but that was fine. Also, this ties into John Cena's heel promo a few months ago. He mentioned these two names. Good stuff. Ziggler was then going to follow up with a kick that was super, but Solo did stop him when he hit the big old spike. And once again, Ziggler sold that like he had been shot, and Solo got the 1-2-3. I thought this benefited all parties, because especially when Dolph Ziggler was doing his entrance, Solo just stood there like, I don't care, I don't care. I'm a big fan of that man. This is getting an up. It may actually be one of the best parts of Raw. It was so damn good. Now we're out of surprise when it does come to the John Cena tournament, but that's all right. This was brilliant. You should check it out. We then continued on with our War Games storylines because Alexa Bliss came out to talk about what Charlotte Flair had done on SmackDown. And let me warn you now, because I think I may be an outlier here. I don't think anybody is going to agree with me. I thought this was absolutely insane. Because yes, on SmackDown, Charlotte Flair decided she wasn't going to be a part of the War Games teams because she doesn't like Rhea Ripley. And I think we could all understand that they do have a past. They tried to murder each other at WrestleMania. When Alexa was like, I've been trying to contact you on Saturday and Sunday, and I know you've been on your phone because I've been stalking your Instagram. So let me try talking down the lens. And listen, this is how I took it. It's not how Alexa Bliss meant to do it, but it's how it came across in the script. She essentially gaslit and emotionally manipulated Charlotte Flair like she was Roman Reigns in the bloodline. She was all like, listen, I understand that we lost the tag team championships, but we can win them back. But I tell you what, we can't win back. Charlotte, is trust. And everyone told me that I couldn't trust you before we got together, but I did. And look at this wonderful relationship we do have. In fact, you know what? You are officially my best friend. Given that you did walk out on SmackDown as well, I got my ass beaten just for hanging out with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, which is what the Kabuki Warriors does. I was like, Alexa, why aren't you mad at Asuka and Kairi Sane? Charlotte is allowed to have difficult feelings, and Charlotte is allowed to take some space for all of this to try and get her mind around it. You gave her 48 hours before you walked out on an international television show and decided to tear her down. If I was Charlotte, I'd be like, you know what, we're done. Of course, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Lash Legend and Nia Jax came out. They just laughed at Alexa Bliss. Nia Jax was very funny. She was like, ha ha ha, you've got no friends. And just when they were about to do a beatdown, out came Rhea Ripley and out came Io Sky. Everybody was fighting and you knew what was going to happen here. Charlotte Flair's music hit. She came out with Kenny the Kendo Stick and she beat everyone's ass. This is also when my hand went up for a third time. I was like, Alexa, you telling me you didn't know Charlotte Flair was backstage and you didn't try and talk to her? I call shenanigans. Now, the absolutely best part of all of this is that at the end, Charlotte did hug Alexa to basically tell you, all right, I've listened to you. But over the other side of the ring, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky saw this, and Io responded in kind. And she cuddled Rhea, and the way she did this, she made Charlotte Flair laugh on camera. And for that moment alone, I'm giving it up. I mean, honestly, it was heartwarming and lovely. However, I think that story is absolutely baloney. And also, it annoyed me because we only did the angle on Friday. And by Monday, we've gone, meh, let's just move on. So I do appreciate it. Because again, if things have happened in the past in WWE, I don't want you to massively ignore them. But it's a down. Like, it just went way over my head. I'm actually happy to be corrected in the comments. You tell me I've got this completely wrong. But I was watching Alexa Bliss, who I'm a big fan of. I was like, I don't agree with one word you're saying. And I actually now feel quite sorry for Charlotte Flair. But anyway, they're all in the war games. This Raw made sure you had no time to linger on anything, though, because we went right into Maxxine Dupri versus Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental title. And can you believe it, man? Maxxine Dupri actually won. She is the new champion, and I thought this was the best thing to do because, again, IC championship belts and the equivalents should be changing hands on TV more and more. Like a somewhat issue we have with the world titles is if someone does hold it, you've got to hold it for like 4,000 days before the creative team even think about changing it. And if that is going to be the case, for the rest of the championships, you've got to have some fun. I genuinely thought this was a massive home run. That rhymes, so it must be true. If I catch any of you going Becky Hogan, well, I'm not going to do anything about it, because basically, I don't want to talk to you. You're a nerd. I'm kidding. There's nothing wrong with being a nerd. Nerds are the best. I'm also super pleased, and I'm sure we all predicted this as well, but of course, AJ Lee also made a return here. So that was like return number 3, and she skipped to the ring. And because Becky Lynch was a wrestler who was having a wrestling match, she couldn't handle that another wrestler had come down and just stood there doing nothing. Although at the time, Becky was trying to expose Tina the turnbuckle, but she was so damn mad, she turned around. Maxxine Dupri, of all things, hit a flying cross body, so it wasn't the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment surprise roll-up, and she got the 1, 2, 3. And I am not ashamed to tell you, it's not true, I'm a little bit ashamed, I kind of popped out of my chair because I was just like, Maxxine Dupri is the best babyface. Yes, she still needs to get better in the ring, but she's trying damn hard. But she has something better than that. You actually want her to see her do well, which was kind of gibberish what I just said there. But you like her. She's likable. And if I have a likable figure on my screen, I want to see likable things happen to her. Becky also went after the arm during this match, so she was teasing, haha, I am going to make you tap out with the disarmer, but that did not happen. And yeah, the shot at the end with Maxxine just being the happiest person on the planet, I am giving it up. And also, if we go into the fictional record books, it will now say, oh, Becky Lynch and Maxxine Dupri had 3 matches in 2025, and technically, Maxxine won them all. Now look, she's probably only going to hold the belt for a few weeks when Becky Lynch does win it back, when we do the big old feud between AJ Lee and Becky Lynch, but that is fine as well. It's getting it up. I stand by it. Just thought it was super duper whooper fun 9000. Raquel and Roxanne Perez, they made a great point because they were like, why is Nikki Bella getting a title shot when Roxanne beat her ass for 2 weeks straight? And I was like, oh yeah, that is true, that did happen, but don't worry because it was right back into the John Cena tournament. This one was absolutely excellent too, and we had another return because obviously Gunther was back and he was taking on Siobhan Evans. And here's what we have to do. Now, one, nobody actually believed that Siobhan could win here, but people still got into his stuff because Siobhan Evans is a damn special talent. I don't care if he's 8 years old, actually I probably would, but he is old enough to be on the main roster. There's nothing else for him to do in NXT. Just put him on Raw, put him on SmackDown, team him up with people that have all the experience, and I tell you, this dude literally and figuratively is gonna fly. Gunther even came out to his old music as well, so I was like, okay, we've done that, now please can we go do the same with Sheamus, who does not have a good theme song at the moment, and Gunther totally got the assignment. He patted Siobhan Evans on the head early on in this. Siobhan went, haha, I'm the bouncy man, and he went flippy dippy doo-dah, absolutely crazy. He wasn't able to counter a powerbomb with a Hurricane Rana, but when he did a dive to the outside, Gunther caught him and just killed this guy. And at one point, I think he gave him an uppercut to the back of the neck. It's like I don't think I've ever seen that before. Javon then started flipping out of German suplexes because of course he did, and he did get a frog splash for a good 1-2-ooh. But ultimately that just pissed off Gunther, who had another powerbomb, and all of his moves before he realised Javon Evans hadn't had his 8 hours sleep, probably because he is so young. He applied the sleeper and Javon had to tap out. But this was one of those performances when the fans were into Javon, everybody wanted him to do well, and he was able to hang with Gunther, who is a multiple-time world champion. So even though Gunther is probably going to be the last opponent for John Cena, we cannot forget Sean Van Evans, man. That's not his name. We cannot forget Javon Evans. We got to do something with him, because sometimes you can miss the period when the iron is hot, so you should be striking. So let's just get it done now. If it doesn't work, you can sneak him back to NXT. He'll still get great experience. I'm giving it an up. The more I think about it, I think Gunther, in terms of the people that are left, well, he should be the last opponent. We'll find out in about a month. I do want to point out as well, this wasn't the greatest match ever. Some people are going to tell you, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But it did exactly what it needed to do when Maxxine Dupri was in the back. Once again, she was the happiest person ever. She wanted to thank AJ Lee, but AJ Lee was like, don't be silly. One, I hate Becky Lynch, but also you did all that yourself. I just gave you some guidance. When Otis and Tozawa walked in, and Lynch just went, made noises, but they went off to party, and just when it looked like AJ Lee was about to go home, Rhea Ripley walked in and said, can I talk to you, mate? I mean, if I was going to guess, I would imagine that Aj Lee is going to be in the War Games. Maybe Rhea wanted that too. She wanted to go, War Games. But AJ Lee hasn't been around for a while, so she may have been like, that's a weird thing to do. I don't want to talk to you anymore. This is when we got to our main event angle, and of course it was all about the men's War Games, and Paul Heyman came out with Division, and Drew McIntyre, who had his own separate entrance. And Paul was basically like, I have taken many people into War Games, but in terms of the best team, this is they. Well, all right, it's good to know. I appreciate you telling me. CM Punk then walked out, but he didn't want to have a conversation, so Jimmy and Jey Uso turned up, as did Cody Rhodes, who had the best part of the evening, because he went to fist bump with CM Punk. CM Punk legitimately didn't see it. Cody was like, well, I got to do something, so we just punched CM Punk on the arm. If I do a video that's called Top 10 Moments of the Year, this is going to be number 1 because I'm a child. Of course, everybody then started to fight, and you could just tell something was coming. And yes, as soon as the babyfaces were standing tall, Brock Lesnar's music hit for like return number 72 of the evening. He came out. We had the big stare between him and CM Punk, which did kind of feel novel, all things considered. And man, he absolutely killed this guy, who, don't forget, is the world champion, when Cody Rhodes got in there, who is also the world champion, and Brock Lesnar threw him into next week. I mean, fair play to Cody. That boy jumped high. We then pretended that Raw was going to go off the air, but you always know what WWE is going to do nowadays. And yes, given that Brock was all alone by himself, Roman Reigns' music hit for yet another return. He walked to the ring, and we had the big stare-off between Roman and Brock. And listen, it was cool, but I do have to say this. I think some of the fans at MSG agreed with me. That feud is kind of tainted these days. To just remind you, when we ran it for like 47 years trying to get the original Roman Reigns over, I think eventually they realised it too, and they started to fight. And as always, Brock Lesnar sold huge for Roman Reigns. He gave him the Superman punch, and Brock just went pew out the ring. Bronson Reed then started beating people up, and he was going to tsunami Roman, but nope, Roman hit him with the punch as well. When finally, not only did the useless wrestling security guards come to the ring, but the NYPD was here. Like, well, that's weird. And when Roman Reigns went to spear Bronson Reed through Barricade, he also took out a cop. So put a 1 on the crime counter. Given that Raw went off air right after this, I'd imagine the tribal chief is in jail. So it really was WrestleMania 40 levels of here comes this guy and here comes that guy. But it always works in WWE, especially because fans are trained to pop so big for entrances. You do have to give it an up, and now we do know both our teams, and they are super stacked. I do have to be honest with you, when I realised who was who and what we did here, it did get me excited for Survivor Series. That is the entire point. Which brought us to the end of Raw, and absolutely it has to get an up. This was just you go, I go, we all go episode. It's like, oh, you like that, did you? Well, here's something else, here's something else. It totally flew by. And if you haven't watched an entire episode of Raw for a while and you want to jump back on, I would totally suggest this one. Gets a big old up. Now, of course, you may disagree with me or you may agree with me, so please do let me know in the comments below before you like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Ups and downs of SmackDown, which was a much better show too, is on the screen right now. Otherwise, my friends, we do have a week of wrestling ahead of us. I will try and entertain you through it as best as possible. See you soon.